is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sound any chance I get, and today we got a real exciting one. It's going to be the brand new album from Maisie Peters called The Good Witch. You have no idea how thrilled I am that I finally get to make a video about Maisie Peters. Discovered on YouTube, Maisie quickly developed a devoted fan base as she released brand new singles like Place We Were Made and Worst of You. However, it was in 2021 when she released the debut album You Signed Up For This, which turned me into a fan. I'm not joking when I say that You Signed Up For This is probably one of the best debut albums that I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. It's a breakup album filled with anger, wits, despair, and of course regrets. And it's complemented with some beautiful pop production that can be calming or gut-wrenching when it needs to. This album is perfect for whenever I'm riding on the subway or the train. That might be due to the cover art, but still. Maisie has always cited Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran as her main influences, and given her songwriting abilities, that really shows. I've heard a few singles leading up to The Good Witch, and so many of them sound great. I'm expecting a slight shift in style, but we'll probably get the same material that she gave us on the previous record. Before we get started though, I want to advise everyone to leave a like and comment for this video, because the more engagement the video receives, the more likely YouTube will pick it up in the algorithm, so I thank y'all for that. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because I could use all the support in the world. It'll put a huge smile on my face. That is out of the way, and now we're getting into The Good Witch. Track number 1, The Good Witch, the title track. Such a gentle piano. It's just so beautiful. There's a little title we got. I love those, I love drumming right there. And it seems like the tempo is picking up too. Oh my god, the ascending vocals right there. Oh my god. It just seems like a thunderstorm of emotions at this point. It's incredible. And that's everyone chanting her name at concerts because she's a big superstar at this point. Okay, so that was The Good Witch, and yeah, that one is a great way to start off the album. Oh my god, like there's so much I can compliment about this. I love the pickup in tempo after we finish the first chorus. I love the gentle piano at the start, but then we get like the thunderous drums. Of course, what also stands out is the outro where we get all these like muffled recordings of like Maisie at various points in her life, like she learns that some guy in her life has a girlfriend now, and there's also people in her life that really want to talk to her, maybe fans, maybe family members. Of course, everyone's chanting her name at the end because she's like performing on a huge stage now that she has become a real household name. If I were to take a stab at the lyrical meaning, I think it's about Maisie sort of maturing more and more into adulthood because she's still in her early 20s, and even though she's a world-famous musician that's making a real name for herself, she still has a lot to learn about life. She's thinking about mistakes that were made in her past, like decisions that she thought that she could have made better. That could probably allude to the title The Good Witch, you know, someone who always strives to be better even if she's made a wrong move here and there. This is some really good stuff. I don't want to harp on it too much because, you know, we gotta get through the whole record, but this was some really good stuff. Track number 2, Coming of Age. A real, like, heavy bass line for this one. Yeah, like, you might regret those someday, you know? Maybe not the best place for a tattoo. Oh, that really jumped out at me! I did not expect that. There's, like, a lot of, like, pop rock to this, you know? Like, it really sounds like synth rock or something, I don't know. Ooh! Really putting emphasis on that line, I really like it. Yeah, this is my voice. I get to give my piece on this matter in this album. Okay, so that was Coming of Age. And yeah, that one kind of really jumped out at me. Like, the way that the chorus just slams into hard rock mode is just really eye-catching, or ear-catching in this case. But I think it might be fitting because Maisie is sort of realizing that she has the power to take control of her own life. She gets to be the main character of her own story, her own life. And when she has that realization to kind of hits her like the chorus hits us. This is definitely not out of character for Maisie, of course, because I remember she tried her hand at rock with Kate's Brother, another song that I really enjoyed. She definitely has the attitude and the charisma and the charm to like really pull this off. Like, I think this might do really well at concerts because like I can picture all the flashing lights around her and like everybody just nodding their heads as the chorus keeps going. Oh man, this is a good one. I really like it. Track number 3, Watch. Kind of seems like we're taking it in the rock direction once more. Would it be called Superbad Part 2? This really takes me back, you know, something that you hear in the 2000s. Yeah, there's like so much frustration layered onto this tune. Like, she seems very frustrated about something. She just makes an assumption and is like, well, you know what? So what if I'm wrong? I'm just very jealous at this point, I guess. The absolute sarcasm in that line. You can feel it. Okay, so that was Watch, and yeah, that one is just full of resentment right there. Maisie is thinking about this guy she used to date, but now that they've broken up, she's observing him sort of pursuing this really happy life, and she's just very flabbergasted by how he's just moving on so quickly. He's living his life, and all she can do is complain about what she doesn't have or what she didn't obtain for herself. And yeah, that's just something that's gonna have to sit with her. She goes on how he loves to live this life of pretentiousness, like you have a camcorder from the 90s, you went hiking in the mountains, like, oh my god, you must be so fucking fancy, like why don't you just slap it on Instagram and get all these likes? I'll give you a golden star, honey, you're just a good noodle. Easily the funniest part is when she assumes that he found a new girlfriend, but it seems like he didn't, and she's just like, well, you know what, I'm fucking jealous right now, just let me have that. Oh man, I love it. And of course we keep up with the style of pop punk, and yeah, she's really pulling it off, like I said. This might be something we see more of as we continue with the listen, but yeah, I'm feeling this a lot. Maisie Peters is in her rock era, and I cannot complain. Track number 4, Body Better. I've already taken a listen to this one, but yeah, of course we always love to listen within the context of the album. It's always like a nasty feeling, you know, something that stings. Feeling as if you tried your best for the partner, but it just wasn't good enough. Realizing that he had something really good before, and now no. I love the way that they're plucking the guitar on the second verse. They're just really like sort of focusing on it right there. Kind of like she still has feelings for this guy, even though they've drifted apart. It's always a nasty feeling. Okay, so Body Better. It still sounds very fantastic. I've done a TikTok video on it before. You can check it out right now. But yeah, ooh, it still gets to me. One thing I will say about this song is that it seems to be keeping up with the consistent theme we've been seeing so far. That theme appears to be jealousy. Maisie was talking before about how she thought her ex had a new girlfriend, but it turns out he didn't. And now it seems like in this particular setup, she has an ex who does have a new girlfriend, and she's thinking, oh my god, is it because her body is better than mine? I can't believe I falter in that department. That might be one of the traits we see in her good witch persona on this LP. After all, envy is one of the deadly sins, so maybe that's something that she's trying to capture with the themes. I'll be sure to keep my eyes open and my ears open. But yeah, this is pretty clever. Track number 5, Want You Back. We seem to have a delicate piano ballad on our hands. Yeah, I was the DJ and the darling of your passenger side. I was the DJ, sort of like I kept you entertained. I still want you back. There's something so delicate about this. Like, it's so beautiful and it's heartbreaking. It tears her apart that she was with him longer than her. Really like those backing voices right there. Really sentimental. I love that. now I have to like start a relationship with someone I barely know instead of something that I've already built up. Okay, so that was Want You Back, and yeah, that one seems to be a nice little ditty right there. So far, this is one of the softer tracks we've been given on this LP, and I think we could welcome it in the pantheon of good tracks titled Want You Back. Congratulations, Maisie, you've entered the club. The premise of this seems to be that Maisie is reflecting on a relationship with a bad boy who, you know, dated her for like half a season, like she said, like only half the spring, so I'm assuming like 2 months at the most. And even though the relationship eventually petered out and he never really had strong feelings for her, like she still had a blast with it because, you know, she was able to have fun. She was able to seek joy. That's why she gets so angry with people whenever they tell her that she should just get over it because it was a fling. Like, yeah, it was a fling, but it was still a fling where she found a lot of excitement and thrill. And again, we see that theme of jealousy pop up again. She'll have you every summer when I only had you half of the spring. And boy, oh boy, that envy is really shining through yet again. Now she has to seek out a new partner, someone that she barely even got the time to know, and build a relationship with them, and, you know, it's gonna be a real hassle, something that's gonna put her through a lot of strenuous work. That's a struggle I'm sure a lot of people are gonna connect with, honestly. Instrumentally, I love the delicate piano, something that sounds like you could dance to in a ballroom. It has that same sweeping cinematic feel to it that we heard on Maisie Peters' previous record. There's certainly a lot to dig into here, and I really appreciate it. Track number 6, The Band and I. That seems like a very romantic place to actually like fall in love. That's like very sweet. No pun intended. Just coming in with the thunder. Feel the thunder. Yeah, never like break us out of our blissful feeling, you know? Ooh! 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 That fucking 80s guitar, man! Something you would hear back in the day. Something very iconic about a British artist singing the American dream. Okay, so that was The Band and I. Very, very American, I gotta say, for a British artist. From what I read, the song is about Maisie going on her first tour, first North American tour for the You Signed Up for This era. And she's talking about all the adventures she went on with her band and her fans even, hooking up in gas stations, watching my drummer date a girl who worked at a cookie shop, writing songs where everyone else hit the hay, stops in Philadelphia and Little Rock, all these different cities all across the US. And we just have so many different moments to share with y'all. As a boy from the States, it is pretty interesting to see her sing all this from the perspective of a British artist, visiting a country that you didn't grow up in, but you're very excited to explore. And of course she makes it sound grand, like with the thunderous drums and the fucking 80s guitar during the bridge. And yeah, there is just such a wide scale to it. This one really gets to me, honestly. It might be really fun to revisit. Track number 7, You're Just a Boy. And I'm kind of the man. I mean, yeah, you're trying your best. Thumbs up for that. Ooh, a cowbell right there. Interesting. Yeah, like, you don't realize that I have a lot more maturity than you do. That's a funny line. Like, you know, it can take a bit much to put on some skinny jeans. I mean, you're already taking over the world, Maisie. I mean, just look how big you become on TikTok. Okay, so that was You're Just a Boy and I'm Kind of the Man. This one seems to be a little bit more of a funny tune. It's a point in the album where we get sort of like a lighthearted sense of humor from Maisie singing about, oh, Mr. Bruce Wayne, where's your cape now? And you left quicker than I could put on my jeans. These are like sort of like sitcom level lines, but I mean that in the best way. It's very clearly about a guy who wasn't committed to the relationship and didn't see what he had in front of him, And now that he's gone, you know, Maisie is sort of feeling like the more mature person in this ordeal. I gave everything that I could, and it seems like he couldn't, even though he did, you know, seem like he was pretty earnest. Now that we're apart, he could finally grow up and know how to actually treat a girl. And maybe he'll actually have a good love life. Again, we see Maisie experimenting more with the rock sound. The production doesn't really jump out at me with this one. But yeah, it's very jumpy, very, like, you know, very fast-paced at its tempo. Yeah, this one seems like a pretty decent song, I gotta say. Track number 8, Lost the Breakup. This is the part I hear on TikTok all the time, in her own videos. Really pushing for this song to be streamed. Ooh, those little synthesizers right there, making me jump in my seat. Ooh, yeah! Ending with a fucking guitar solo. Okay, so, Lost the Breakup. I think I've done that one before. Maybe I'm mistaken, I'm not entirely sure. I might have to go back and check. But, yeah, this is a really good song still. Love the rock elements, I love how lighthearted she keeps it, and I love the sense of maturity and confidence she's displaying with it. She's realizing she did handle this breakup well, and the other guy did not. And it's really, like, making her feel as if she can conquer the world, in a sense. Yeah, it's a really good song. I've listened to it before, I don't have much else to say about it, but I enjoy it quite a bit. Track number 9, Wendy. We're very stripped back with this one. Really authentic, really pure. Ooh, wow. The great just kind of echoes, like, it's almost like something that really wants to stick with you, in a way. Like, emphasizing over and over. Ooh! The way those vocals blended together, it was just wow. Yeah, it's another song acknowledging that you need to grow up and mature into adulthood at a certain point. This piano is just so beautiful, it's gorgeous. This is by far the most beautiful song of this entire record so far. Okay, so that was Wendy. Oh my god, that one, like, really, like, astonished me. This is a song that's based on the narrative of Peter Pan, where he takes Wendy and her brothers to Neverland, and they have this wonderful time together. But eventually Maisie decides that she wants to take her own path and get her own wings and really, like, take off in the sense that she doesn't need Peter Pan anymore. Again, this theme is consistently popping up in this record. Maisie singing about how she needs to grow up and, really mature and really, like, find her place in society as she becomes more of an adult. And in doing that, she kind of needs to leave certain aspects of her life behind. In this case, immature boyfriend of some kind. And I kind of like the metaphors that she plays with, I'm gonna close the window and turn on the AC. It's sort of like she's saying that, I'm not gonna go down the same path as Wendy, where she opened a window and, like, flew out. And yeah, I really like that. Of course, it sounds very magical in a way too. Like, I definitely feel like as if I'm floating on air and sort of traveling up into space. But there's a sense of tragedy to it also, because she's disappointed that she's gonna have to leave this aspect of her life behind. But it's something that she has to do if she wants to continue getting older. Unlike Wendy, I'm not going to get swept away after just spending a little bit of time with you. I got to be very careful of what I want to pursue. That's a song that really touches me, I got to say. Like, for real, though. I know I wasn't shedding any tears, but I was definitely getting a little bit emotional over it. I'm going to like listening to this one again. No doubt about it. Track number 10, Run. He just stumbled on his pickup lines. Kind of like warning all of our fellow listeners, all the warning signs that a man can possess. Ooh. The way that the chorus sort of echoes right there. That's really neat. Like, she's like, I've seen some fucking shit, man. I'm having, like, fucking war flashbacks. Like, he hates authenticity. Like, that fucking shit just gets me. Ooh, a little guitar solo, adding that touch during the final few seconds. Okay, so, Run. This is an interesting song, I gotta say. The title is very straightforward. It's kind of like she's saying, "Run!" As if, like, you know, she's, like, giving, like, a freaking warning to her female viewers or listeners. It's a song talking about all the aspects of a male lover that could, you know, give off red flags, and, you know, the girls have to, like, you know, sort of, like, dodge that as best as they can. And it's almost like she's telling her male listeners how not to treat a girl if they want to pursue one. She says that one of the warning signs is a man saying he wants his girl to be in his life forever. I mean, I for one would never, like, propose to a girl on the first date, per se. But yeah, you know, that seems to be something that isn't exactly romantic. The production is also pretty neat. It seems to be clouded in this aura of darkness. It has this sense of danger to it. And the progressive tempo is sort of like the girls, like, literally running away from their man, or their ex-man. Yeah, it seems like a pretty fun song. I think a lot of her fans are gonna dig this one. It might not be my favorite on the record so far, but it has its charm. Track number 11, 2 weeks ago. Okay, same delicate piano that we've heard before. Those violins, they still sound amazing. The regrets, once more. Oh my god. Those layered vocals also get to me. Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago, and oh my god, it still sounds as heartbreaking as ever. This is another song that I already listened to prior to this video. I did not record a reaction for it, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. Just a song that was filled with so much regrets and just longing. And she wishes that she didn't break up with this guy 2 weeks ago. I'm assuming that's what 2 weeks ago is meant to mean. The combination of the violins and the pianos just work together so beautifully, and Maisie just sounds heartbroken in the performance. Oh, man, it really makes me want to shed tears. This is something that she was very good at with You Signed Up For This, and I'm very glad that those elements are sort of carrying over from that LP. Track number 12, BSC. Wasted no time with the build-up and just jumping right into the production. It's not something you can just remove easily and then just get on with your life. The drum rolls, the chaotic beats. Oh, she's mad. Like, you can actually hear the anger in her voice. Like, it's just really, like, sounding clean right there. I can write about the bloodthirsty killer, and I am the bloodthirsty killer. Okay, so, yes, we got another angry track from Maisie Peters. What is it? Bloody motherfucking batshit crazy. Her words. Maisie is clearly emphasizing that she is mad as fuck that this relationship went south, that he didn't put in the work, that he just left her out to dry, and now she is just letting all loose. And I was just very entertained by how hard the production crashes into you and, like, really hits you with all that anguish. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Sleigh Bells, because they always experimented with noise pop, the way it's sort of, like, meant to be hard in your ears. That could be the same thing that she's going for here, and I think it's working really well. Angry Maisie is a fun Maisie. That's all I'm gonna say. Track number 13, Therapy. This one feels very old school, I gotta say. Maybe like something from the 80s or 90s even. I'm just talking to your memory. That's really, really clever, you know? It's kind of like I'm just picturing you in my head, and that's all I have to talk to. You're taking me from your arms. Oh my god. Ooh, the way the piano kind of like ascends right there. That really, really caught my ears right there. Vocal melody is on point. Okay, so that was Therapy, and yes, that one really did gel with me nicely. I really love how the production ramps up and it really like reaches a climax where Maisie is really letting all of her anguish let loose. Not as bombastic or aggressive as the previous track, but it seems like Maisie is really taking it in hard. That one line, "You're taking me from your arms," the fact that the chorus ends on that line is just perfection. She hates the fact that this guy's no longer with him, and so she's gonna need to seek out some psychological help for those feelings, and she kind of resents him for that. Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. They can see themselves in this kind of situation. She just feels as if her life is spiraling out of control, and she has no way to sort of like obtain that power again. But it looks like the therapist is gonna have to step in on this one. God, this track gets a lot better the more that I reflect on it. I don't know if that ever really happens with me, but I like it how it's happening with this one. But of course, we gotta move on at this point. Track number 14, There It Goes. The pitch that her voice reached right there. Yeah, your adulthood is approaching you very, very fast. I just needed better foresight of where this relationship was gonna go. Silly me. Ooh, witchin'. The good witch. There it is again. Ooh, that synth melody in the outro. Love it. Okay, so that was There It Goes. Yeah, that one I sort of really vibe with. There's this real wistful energy to it. Like, Maisie is reflecting on the love that they had and, like, you know, how it's, like, now been dead and gone for a long time at this point. She was getting older, really starting to adjust to adulthood, and she just couldn't have this relationship pile on to what was already a heavy stack. Speaking of which, I think the line was, "The love we had was covered in snow," might be sort of like a metaphor for how, like, there was just so much weight being piled onto them, like their love. And at a certain point, she just had to clear it all off, you know? Like, she just had to remove that weight so that she could keep progressing into adult life. She was just blown away by this guy at a certain point. She made out with him at a party in front of the homies. And after a while, everything just started to get really, really heavy. And, like, she just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm assuming that the bridge is meant to be about how she was able to find some comfort with her friends. You know, she's talking about doing yoga with them, and at a certain point it became really cold, the season changed, and now she's sort of bettering herself, you know? She found the strength to keep moving forward and, you know, not let this guy weigh down on her. In a lot of ways, the production kind of reminds me of Circles by Post Malone, you know, with just how wistful it is, considering that it's about a breakup. The seasons changed and our love went cold, you know, we fed the flame because we can't let go. You know, it kind of gives me that same vibe. Maisie is just churning out great song after great song in this record, and I'm really digging it. But now, it's time to get into the final track of the entire LP. Track number 15, History of Man. Yeah, like, that is just a feeling that everybody, like, sort of feels at a certain point. Like, you just stopped wanting me, and that just sucks. You know, we just lack in the listening department. Us guys. You just dropped this relationship like it was nothing. Like there was no history between us. And that is the history of man. Now she's kind of like saying, this girl in the story is me, you know? Okay, so that was the history of man, and yeah, it seems like we have a really interesting song here. Maisie closes the record by talking about how her ex-boyfriend didn't, you know, exactly listen to her, didn't give him his time of day, and then he just dropped the relationship as if there was like no impact whatsoever. And Maisie's sort of using this as a jumping point to, you know, sort of critique the way men treat their girls. There's definitely a lot of resentment here. Hear my lyrics, taste my venom, you know, she really makes it stick with you. And the ominous production is really meant to hit you in the heart, you know? It's sort of like a wake-up call and be like, you know what? Maybe I should act a little bit better in these relationships. If I had one itty-bitty critique, maybe like History of Man and There It Goes could have flip-flopped so that maybe There It Goes could have been the finale track, but you know what? That's just my personal opinion. Maisie probably had a different vision, so I won't try to speak over her on that front. But yeah, this seems like a pretty decent track that Maisie decided to close the record with. Not complaining too much. With that, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna let the album sit with me. I'll listen to it a second time. Then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts, so bear with me. Alright, I am back, and I'm ready to give you my final thoughts on Maisie Peters' The Good Witch. While recording this particular album reaction, I felt I was fulfilling a very tall order. Because Maisie Peters is an artist I've grown to care about, and I don't want any sort of sound like that interrupting me. So I wanted everything to be perfect. And you know what? This album practically almost is perfect. Perhaps the reason this album is titled The Good Witch is because Maisie finds herself fighting with some very strong emotions. Body Better makes her look envious, BSC makes her look wrathful, and You're Just a Boy and I'm Kinda the Man is her pride speaking. Not gay pride in this context, but, you know, pride nonetheless. You could see her showcasing some of the deadly emotions, even if it's just a handful. I don't know what gluttony would have looked like. But eventually Maisie finds herself being the bigger person in the breakup, and even fills her listeners in on what guys could do better in the relationship. She also finds ways to spend time with her friends and bandmates, looking at everything life has to offer. She sings so much about heartbreak, but with the kind of venom that only Gen Z is able to pull off. I mentioned before that I expected a ton of elements from the previous record to be carried over to this one, and I was partially right. So much of the polished pop production is still here, adding emotion and scale to each lyric. But now we're seeing Maisie enter her rock era, which is already being teased with a few other singles that weren't on The Good Witch. I would assume that this was mainly inspired by Olivia Rodrigo, but Maisie is able to make her own style unique, adding a sense of class, humor, and of course, Britishness. Overall, I'm very proud of Maisie navigating her own narrative, and I'm very eager to see where she's going to take it next. I give The Good Witch 4.5 out of 5 stars. No ranking this time because this album is just too damn excellent for it. And that ought to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this album reaction. I had a blast with this one. It was a hassle to sort of record it, but I was able to get it out there, and I hope y'all had fun with yourselves. If you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. The links are going to be in the description. And that is where we're wrapping up for today. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope we were able to soak up those drops. Take care.